Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Carly and you're watching Sewscape, and today I have a video showing you everything I've been putting off for basically the entire spring and summer. So these are all the fixes to sewing garments that I've made recently that I'm like, oh, I should tweak this, I should tweak that. But the time is now. We're about to go on vacation and I want to bring everything here with me when we go. So I just thought I would show you everything that I'm gonna do to it to make things wearable or fit me better. And this is gonna keep me accountable, so I actually do it. And I have really nice, well-fitting garments while I am on vacation. So I'm gonna start maybe with one of the oldest projects that's been waiting quite a while to get fixed. Let's see here. So it is this skirt. So I made a video showing the making of this skirt and it's really cute. I love it. It's out of this thrifted duvet cover and it's just a little bit big in the waist. I find my waist fluctuates so much from morning to night that in the morning it's really small, or in the morning it feels really big, but by the end of the day, you know, I'm working and just feeling like swollen, it fits pretty well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unpick the stitching along the back side of the waistline and I'm going to put in an elastic casing here. So I'm gonna sew some elastic to either side seam and just kind of give it that, I'm thinking 2 inches of ease. I'm gonna start unpicking all the hand stitching that I did here and we will get started fixing this up. So on this skirt here, I've just unpicked that waistband and this might get a little wonky, I'm not totally sure. What I'm planning on doing is the elastic that I have is only this, I think it's 3/4 inch elastic. So I'm gonna have to do 2 casings. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sew down the middle of the waistband from kind of side seam to side seam in the back. And then I'm gonna loop it up and through and just kind of stitch that down. I don't know, I've never done a partial elastic, like just in the back, but I don't wanna do elastic all the way because I feel like it looks better when the front is flat. So I'm going to do this now and wish me luck. So now that I have my 2 rows of stitching done, I'm just gonna I'm gonna measure the distance from side seam to side seam, subtract 2 inches, and cut 2 pieces of elastic that long, and then put them through the casing and just tack or stitch it down along those side seams. So that is all done there. The print is really busy, so you can't really see. Like, I'll try to give you guys a close-up. I did not do the neatest job of kind of that joining seam. I could have definitely done better, but I really don't think anyone is going to be looking that close to the stitching. And I feel like the way it kind of gathers up the back side is way better than me kind of tying it really tight on the front like I was doing, because it was kind of giving me a weird shaped tummy, I found. So I'm just gonna go through, and because I unpicked that whip stitch that I did, if I was to do this again, I actually probably wouldn't unpick that whip stitch and just do unpick a couple so I could kind of go up through there, because I undid the whole back just to stitch it back down when I really just needed a tunnel to get through. So I'm just gonna go and stitch in the ditch on the front just so it kind of matches what I just added, so the stitching doesn't just kind of stop in that line. And yeah, this will be done and we'll try it on and hopefully it fits better than it did before. And now that is all done, so that is looking really good. I'm gonna move on to the kind of matching piece with this, which is kind of like a bit of a Hail Mary project. I had a little kind of bra top that I made that went with this, and I love this top, but I find every time I wear it, it really like collapses in on itself when I'm sitting down. So there's just not enough support for me with this top. So I'm gonna add some boning to it, and in the right way of doing this, you would take it all apart and, you know, put the boning on the inside of the 2 layers of like the fabric and the lining, but I'm just going to add a boning casing to the inside and like top stitch it down and kind of do just like 2, you know, down the bust seams, and then maybe, you know, an extra 3 along the bodice, and just see if I can make this wearable. And yeah, it might be a massive fail, but hey, it's not getting worn right now, so it can't get worse than it is. Hi everyone, it is the next day. I got a little discouraged last night with the fixes that I was doing because the little bra top that I was adjusting, while the boning did really add better support, I found it was just too tight. If I'm standing, it's fine, but the band along the waist is just too small. So I think I'm not going to bring that with me on vacation. I'm going to put that aside, and maybe one day I'm going to like add a panel in there or something like that to make, you know, just to let it out an inch or something like that. But, you know, if something is hard to breathe in, it's not worth wearing. So I'm going to move on to a trickier project. I should do something really nice and easy just to get motivated, but I have these pajamas here, this little pajama dress that I made, and it's so nice and swishy from this viscose. I love these colors, but it went through the washing machine, and I have one of the top loading washing machines, and it like, you know, oscillates like this, and one of the straps got caught around the thing that spins around, and it just tore the sleeve right up. So not sleeve, but the strap. I've been looking at it and I'm just like, where do I begin? So what I'm gonna do, so this is the side seam here, and the side seam has come apart like this. So I'm gonna stitch this up here and then overlock this edge so the side seam is where it should be, and then I'm gonna reinforce this seam here and stitch that back down where it's coming apart here. And then this is kind of the ruffled sleeve, and I'm like, why is this so big? What is happening here? So this is coming apart here. I'm gonna stitch that, and then the ruffled piece came apart in half, and this is stretched out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sew this like a little mini French seam. So I'm gonna put wrong sides together like this, stitch across where it's ripped, and then flip it right sides together and stitch across that like that. And I hope this will work. This is gonna be like, you know, just kind of sew as I go. Try to fix as many things. This is pajamas, so like I'm not really worried about the seams looking really neat. I'm more worried about being able to have pajamas on vacation. So I'm gonna start sewing this one up and I'll show you how it goes. All right, so I just finished up the structural issues with this. It's looking like the one sleeve where I had to do the French seam is slightly now shorter than the other side, but honestly does not matter to me. This little hole that is in here, I'm just gonna go through and I'm just gonna hand sew it shut and just try to make that work. And as I'm going around, I'm noticing there are kind of lots of little areas where there's like fraying happening. So I'm just gonna go through and just hand stitch anything that is fraying, and then snip the frays off and maybe do some fray check on it. When in doubt, liquid plastic it out. That is terrible. But anyways, I'm gonna go kind of fix all these little areas with some hand stitching, and hopefully this will be done and fit great. All right, so I just got done a bit of that hand sewing. I'll show you up close. Like it's not pretty, but I feel like because it is, you know, part of a ruffle, like it's gonna be all ruffled. Are you really gonna notice? And the print is so busy, and the only people really seeing it are gonna be me and my family, so I'm sure that is fine. I might put just like 2 more little stitches right in here, but I think that's looking pretty good. And then I noticed along the very front here, let's see. Oh, I think I fixed that already. Oh, no, right here. The sleeve has just come apart a little bit from the bias binding. So same thing, I'm just gonna stitch that down, I think by hand, and then it'll be nice and hidden. All right, so I finished that one up. I'm gonna try kind of everything on all together at the end, and we'll see how everything fits. So after this, I think I'm gonna move on to some denim. So I have a pair of jeans and a pair of shorts, and the jeans that I made, both pairs are made out of the same denim. It's the bleached 8-ounce indigo denim from Fabricville, and like at first sight, this was really nice fabric. I just find it doesn't really have the recovery to it. So it stretches out as you wear it, and then it doesn't kind of come back to shape. So I used interfacing in the jeans that I made in the waistband, and I cut the waistband to the size of my waist measurement. So it would be 0 ease, almost like a belt, and kind of like hold the denim up. But because of where the button overlaps with the buttonhole, like there's an inch of negative ease in them because I didn't take that into consideration. So I have some denim left. I'm gonna remove this waistband, cut a new one that is my waist measurement plus that inch that overlaps. I'll add, yeah, just an inch, because I'm not going to interface this waistband because I thought the top stitching would get all wonky if I didn't interface it. But I didn't interface the shorts pair, and I found it was really nice because it then had the stretch factor to it. So yeah, I'll cut a new waistband for the jean version, and then I want to take the legs of the jeans in. So they are flare, and I adjusted them so they were a bit tighter, like in the booty area, but I'm feeling like the thighs, because it doesn't recover well, the thighs are looking kind of saggy. So I'm gonna take in probably an inch of each thigh and just kind of stitch on those side seams. I'm not gonna alter the inseam or anything because there's top stitching there. And I'll just kind of let, you know, taper into the knee, and then I don't want it tight on my knees or anything, and then kind of just leave the bottom seam as is. So I'll start with that pair. So I just cut off that waistband. I know I shouldn't have probably cut it. So now the waist is gonna sit half an inch lower, but I think that's gonna be totally fine. So I measured the waistband that was on there, and my waist measurement is 34 inches, and this waist measurement was 34 inches. And at first I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing this adjustment for nothing. But then I remember that inch of negative ease from the overlapping. So I'm with you. So I'm actually just gonna measure this 1 inch bigger, so 35 inches, and not interface it so that that waistband has some stretch to it, and I can wear it with a belt just to help with that recovery. I also noticed the way I stitched on these belt loops was almost embarrassing. Like they were barely on there. So I wonder, probably because I adjusted this waistband already. So these have been stitched and unstitched. This will be the 3rd time. So I'm wondering if I should just make some new belt loops because they are looking pretty trashed, and the stitching in them, like I just can't even pull that out. It's so like tightly stitched in there. So might as well do it while I have the denim. So I'm gonna cut out this waistband now, and we will stitch a new waistband on. So I just sewed on that waistband and it's looking really good. So now I just have to do the button on it. But I'm gonna do all my buttons because I have to probably put a new buttonhole on my other pair too. I'm gonna do that all together because I have the walking foot on and it takes a second to take off. So I'm gonna put these on inside out and just kind of pinch out the excess along my thighs, and then I'm gonna alter those side seams. All right, so I just tried those on and they're looking really cute. I made them a little tight around the knees because it really accentuated the kind of like bell bottom style. So now we're going on to the belt loops. I picked through the belt loops. I added an extra one on when the pattern was too big before I made it too small, and I added 5 belt loops, so 1 on each front dart, 1 on each back dart, and then 1 on the middle, because I feel like it always kind of sags in the middle. I'm thinking I'm only going to add 4 because they technically fit really well now, so I shouldn't have that sagging happening, hopefully. So 2 of the belt loops that I used were salvageable, and then I actually found like extra belt material, like already like folded and cut and everything, of the same fabric. So that must have been when I added the 5th one. I made just like a strand of belt loops, so I'm going to put 4, so 1 on each dart. So I'm gonna pop those on now, and this will be mostly done apart from the belt or the button. But I maybe wore these pants like twice since I made them, and every time I'm like, oh, they're just so frumpy, like I feel like they're not that cute. But now I'm like, wow, I'm gonna be wearing these for the rest of the summer. I'm so glad that I fixed these. So I just finished sewing on those belt loops for the 3rd time on these pants, and let me tell you, my sewing machine was screaming the whole time. I don't know what it is about this fabric, because I've sewn like a lot of jeans before, but I feel like the first time I sewed the belt loops on these, I broke like 3 needles. But I remembered on my last belt loop what the issue was. It's because I'm using the walking foot because of the stretch denim, but the walking foot, the way it moves with the denim, my needle will hit it and then break. So if you're sewing belt loops with a walking foot on and you're having broken needle problems, I would suggest switching to a regular foot. But these ones ended up fine. I had to really like hand crank most of the time, but they are the best these belt loops have ever looked on these pants so far. So this has really made me feel great about doing some repairs. I feel like as someone who sews a lot, it's way easier just to like make new clothes than it is to fix the ones that you have, but that is not sustainable, and that is what we are here for. So I love that I was able to fix these, and they are going to be a new staple in my wardrobe. Hopefully for years to come. I hope they really kind of wear in and get different, like, I'm even noticing a little wear on the sides already, and I've worn them twice, so I don't know about this denim, but I like these jeans now that they are altered. So I'm thinking, should I continue down my denim path, or I have a little bit of hand sewing that I can do in front of the TV. I think I'm going to give my sewing machine a little break, and I'm going to do a little bit of hand sewing next. So I'll show you my next project. So if you watched one of my latest videos, it's about everything that I made last month, and this dress was in it. And so the first time I wore this dress, I was getting out of my husband's truck, and the handle lever thing caught on the dress, and it just kind of tore it apart. So I have 2 holes in the butt of the skirt. So you can kind of see I've interfaced the opposite side like this, but I'm noticing the interfacing is peeling, and you can really see the fray check that I put on. It has like this white cast, and let me tell you, that is not what I want on kind of the butt of my dress. So I repaired another one of my dresses that I had the same issue with by cutting a little square of the same fabric in the same pattern print, and just ladder stitching it along like a patch. And so that secures the interfacing on the inside while covering it on the outside. And I found you really couldn't tell. The last time that I did it, the pattern was busier, but this is a busy pattern too, and it's a dark fabric. So I have just a tiny little scrap of fabric. So I'm gonna cut 2 little patches out of it and try to kind of match where the pattern is. And I'm gonna ladder stitch that on. Honestly, I never wear this to work, but even out and about, especially when I'm on vacation, I don't want like white patches on the back of my dress, you know? So let's cut this out and make those tiny little patches. So I have my 2 little patches here, and I'm gonna take this dress here, And so I cut one a bit thicker for the bigger, kind of thicker hole, and then one more narrow. So I'm just gonna pop this on top. My pattern matching is not perfect, but I'm just gonna stitch that on there. And then this one on here. And hopefully it doesn't look like too crazy. We'll kind of see which way will work best with the pattern, but we'll stitch those on and hopefully it'll just disappear into it. So I have those patches now sewn on. So from far away, you know, you can't really see anything. But if you go up close, there's one of my patches and there's the other. So they are a bit darker because this has kind of been washed and dried out and stuff. So the color is different, but from far away, I think it is totally fine. No one will notice unless I'm in super bright sunlight. And that's okay, because you know, it's okay to fix your clothes and make them last you a long time. So I'm so glad this is done and looking awesome again. All right, so the next project that I'm working on, this is actually a really new project. So I wouldn't necessarily call it mending, but I would call it finishing. So I was making a dress for my brother's wedding, which turned out so cute, but I just made a toile of the bodice. I just wanted to double check the fit and the shape of the sweetheart neckline here, because the original pattern is a square neck, so it's straight across here. So I just traced that out, redrafted it a bit, and then wanted to make sure the fit was perfect, and it really was. And it made this super cute little bustier crop top, perfect for vacation. So when I made this version, I didn't bone the side seams, I just did the front and the back. But I've now made the dress and I boned the side seams of that, and I really like the support that that gives. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna add 2 more boning casings, one to one of the side seams and one to the side seam of the zipper, and then put that boning in, stitch it across, and then I'm just gonna do all the hand sewing around the edges and stitch the 2 sides together, and that will be perfect. So now I'm moving on to my last project. So these are some denim shorts that I made a while ago, and this is the same denim as the other jeans that I just fixed, and I had the same issue. The waistband of this one, I never tightened it after making it originally, but it's just about an inch too big. So the last one was an inch too small, this one's an inch too big. So I'm going to rip off this waistband here, and I'm gonna have to reuse this waistband because I don't have any more. This denim was like bleached, like I bleached it at home. Look, when I did the button, I sewed the buttonhole on the wrong side, so I just attached the button to the wrong side. That's how much I'm gonna take off. So I'm gonna unpick this whole waistband, cut that much off, and then just redistribute the waist measurement along that and sew it on, and then I'll be done all my fixes, and maybe I can get to sewing a new project before I go on vacation. So I have that waistband all sewn on again. I bleached these shorts after I had made them, so some areas kind of look a different color of blue, but I think it's gonna all even out in time. So on this pair of shorts, I need to add the button, because the button is what I cut off of this side, and then on the pair of jeans is the buttonhole that I need to add. So I still have to pop the belt loops on this one, and then the button. So I have my walking foot taken off the sewing machine now, and I'm going to sew on these belt loops and then pop in a button, and then we'll work on the buttonhole of the other pair of pants. I'm just getting ready for my fashion show portion of this video, and I found 20 bucks in my pocket. So if you have a mending pile that is out of control, this is your sign to do it, and the universe will repay you. And on to the fashion show. And those are all the mending projects I have to show you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I hope you guys have the best rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.